Hey you guys, it's Sky with Sky Knows Bets, and the most requested thing has been for me to give you guys a guide on how to use these cheat sheets. And so I'm going to go ahead and just quickly break down how to use it. Once again, you guys, make sure that you guys are following me on Telegram, Instagram, X, absolutely everything. And if you guys want to support, go ahead and if you don't have one of these books, get one of these books and use code SCRAP. Parlay Play is the only one that use code SkyBets. But either way, I appreciate you guys. Now, let's quickly go over how to use these cheat sheets. These are the cheat sheets that I put out daily. And the quickest way to read these cheat sheets is to understand how player props work. If you guys don't know how player props work, I can drop another video on that as well. But you guys should know how player props work. So looking at this, right up on the very first column is the team. So this is Denver Nuggets. It's the player, Najee, and it has the prop bet. So this is saying under 1.5 assists. This is giving the odds. Now the odds are pulled from multiple different books. So your miles may vary as far as what your book is going to give for those odds. And then this is showing the hit rate, how many times that has been hit. Now, for these cheat sheets, you're looking at the streak. So the streak means how many times that person has hit that line in the last X amount of games. So when you see 24 out of 26, that means that Najee has went under 1.5 assists in 24 of the last 26 games. So pretty much you would think if you're just going off the cheat sheets alone, that looks like a really good bet to place or to put together. Now, you can take this as a single, you can take it as a parlay piece, but one thing that I choose to do rather than just following it blindly is look more into that data and just see however you may like to decide whether or not to take a pick. That's up to you. One way that I use multiple different platforms in order to dive a little bit deeper. But for today's purposes, I'm going to show you guys how to use Outlier, which if you sign up on Outlier, you can get a free 7-day trial if you use code SCRAP. But use on Outlier, and what you can do is you can go in and take a look at the defense versus position. So if we come here to Zeke Najee's, you'll see that his under assist line. Well, first, let me show you guys Outlier. A lot of you guys either may have used Outlier before or might not have used Outlier, but it's an absolute great tool to help you do research on players and game information. It has a lot of information here. Sometimes it can be overwhelming. That's why I have the cheat sheet. So you have a starting point. So you can take those cheat sheets and then further dive deep into it. Or I know a lot of people will just use the cheat sheets, put them together and take them blindly. I hit a 5-leg, I want to say 2 weeks ago, just by taking 5 different players on the 5 different cheat sheets that I have. So points, rebounds, and assists, whatever the prop was, and then just putting that on a slip. So that's really gambling. I wasn't necessarily looking into it, but it is possible. So here on Outlier, use code SCRAP. You can come to, since we're just going to look at the props today, I'm not going to do a full breakdown on Outlier, but if you want to search for that player, in this instance, I had already pulled it up, but you can come here to props under NBA, search for the player. You can just start typing in their name and it'll pop up. Once you do that, it'll start to filter and show you guys every prop that is currently available for that player. Here is the under 1.5 assists right here. So you can click on it and it will go into more depth, showing you pretty much everything for that player. Now, the very first thing that you can look at, this is showing right now the last 10. So out of his last 10 games, he has went over 1.5 assists just recently on the 11th. But aside from that, you see that he's been under. You can look at the last 20 games head to head. The last time that he played, who are they playing? Oh, they're playing New Orleans. Look at this season's data. You can see he's constantly going under. You can also look at last year's data if you want to as well. And there are more filters here to where you can see, okay, he hit that line after days of rest. And that's going a little bit into more. And if you guys want a video on that, comment down below depth, and then I'll go more into depth of how you can use these filters to really narrow down if you want. But that's not what we're going to do today. We're just going to focus on how to use the cheat sheets. So when I come here, like looking at the last season, I really like to see the last season and I like to see the last 10. So I'm also going to look over here to the right, and this is showing a lot of the defense versus position. Now, he's considered a power forward. So I'm looking over here at defense, right? So this is breaking down New Orleans defense versus this is overall, and it's showing for the assist. But if I want to dial it in, I'll click on versus power forward, since that's what his position is. And of course, my screen is freezing up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look over here, defense versus position. I'm going to look at the power forward position. And I see that they are ranked 7th against his position. So basically meaning, and you can see the colors right here, that means that it's a favorable matchup. That means that they do give up some assists they average 3.7 assists to the power forward position. So maybe something that, especially him coming off of having 3 assists, that you may decide, you know what, I don't necessarily want to take that play. And for whatever reason, you guys, Outlier is just giving me a headache right now. And it might be because I'm recording at the same time, so it's kind of like bogging. So you look at this and say, that position, because he's coming off of having 2 assists, or it's a matchup for him to potentially get 2 assists. Or you could look at the head-to-head here and see when they've played 2 times this current season, he did not have any assists against them. So you might say, hey, he hasn't had it before. And this is the way that you can come in and break down that prop. Now, you don't have to do that for every single one comfortable with. Continue to scroll down here. You'll see more information. You'll see your previous opponents here and their assist line, right? So if we're looking at other power forwards against New Orleans, Paulo, his line was under 5.5. He got 8. And you'll see as you continue, like, previous opponents' position. And it'll also just give you like nice little insights, Najee 1.5 in 14 straight games on the road. And then we also know just from the streak, he has went under 24 out of the last 26. So it's really up to you whether you decide whether this favorable matchup will sway you away. Like I said, the head-to-head data shows that he didn't get it the last couple times they played. And it's all going to show you right here. If you the version of this, you can click next to the person's name right here, and it'll show you line movement. Now, currently, there's only one book that this is showing BetMGM. And so probably more, but I think my filter may be on because I'm here in Vegas. But it'll show you the line movement. So you'll see that, so it hit from -155 to -150 to -150. And about line movement, I can also make a video about that. That's super important. This is one of the main things that I love about Outlier, is that it shows the line movement for player props as well. And line movement is super important. Like I said, I can go over another video of that later. Another thing on Outlier, you can push this drop down and you can see the different odds that are available. All right, so if we come back to the cheat sheet, that's how you can break things down. That's how you can look at it. This is showing the hit rate for whatever that prop is. I don't put anything on here that's like deeply into the 60s, so you'll see that this changes. This is 68% of the time, because I really just feel like anything under that is just like, it's just not good, right? Always aiming to look at picks that are 70 and above. Really, you want to dial into 80% and above. These are the picks that I would be looking at for that. And then show you guys like some information from use the NFL sheet for yesterday. The way that you could use it was Houston. So we have Fairbairn over 1.5 field goals made. You can go back to the game. And you'll see that he did many opportunities. The game was pretty slow. It was pretty bad. So he did not clear the line. Here we go for the kicks. He only got 1 field goal. But leading up to that, you're looking at this information, had hit 14 out of the last 15 times. He had made over 1.5 field goals. So that would have been a good bet to take. All bets aren't going to win. And then if you wanted to, you could, go. It's different now because this was yesterday's game, so I don't want to go on the Outlier. But so he's hit that 14 out of the last 15 games. If the odds or in your book were really -141, and this is a 93% hit rate, if you look at the implied odds of -141, as my computer is lagging, you'll see that that's saying it's a probability that that prop hits. So 58, and this is hit at 94%. That is a 36% edge. I'm going to take that play every single time. Even if, and as you guys can see, my computer is glitching out, but even if this was, something juice, I know a lot of you guys, don't go with juice, but for implied, okay, sorry, my is not with me right now. So I'm going to hurry up and wrap this up. But just going back to this play right here, even if you were to get it at, say, -170, that's a 62% implied probability. And if he's hitting that at 93%, I mean, that's true EV, and we can go into plus EV another time. But if we look at Nick Chubb's over 15 and a half rush yards, you'll see that Nick Chubb's got 48 yards. You know, the prop would have hit. If we're looking at receptions, he plays for Pittsburgh. He only got one reception. And this is just, going this and using Outlier and diving a little bit deeper into the analytics as you're looking to take a bet. So hopefully this helps you guys learn how to use these cheat sheets. You guys go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Make sure you're following me on X, Instagram, everything. I'm going to be dropping more videos. Let me know what you guys want. I'm going to be on YouTube more. I'm going to be everywhere more because we are to win. So I appreciate you guys. Let me know if you have any more questions. Leave a comment down below.